a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say. I need a break.
I said no effects.
Okay. This is funny. You can do. There's just some weird things. I thought about doing this one.
Nice.
Yeah. There's a bunch of weird ones here, but
sepia is beautiful.
So that's cool.
Okay. You're cool. We're back. Woo! Yeah, we've just been dying, people. It's the world is being destroyed by diseases, so we're back and healthy. Hopefully, if we cough, if we throw up, it's just it's normal.
Which is weird for me because I usually don't have like any kind of gag reflex. But I have just been
out of me too.
Yeah, so
it's
kind of like
for
you
me.
grab
It's
your
like
thumb, you just grab your thumb hard and then
squeeze. Or like for me, my toothbrush gag really but when there's motivation, delete that thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of which, same topic. I have a half hot chocolate, half coffee that I'm drinking.
Oh, that sounds. I would try that. I'm not a huge fan of coffee, but I do like hot chocolate, especially the little marshmallows, little mini marshmallows. Oh, cute, festive. I don't have anything really. Oh, check out this fidget spinner though. It's a Wonder Woman fidget spinner.
Oh man, it's too
weird.
bad.
I got that right here. It's just.
I mean, on topic of Wonder Woman, we're gonna talk about DC today. We're kind of, because we were sick and all that, missed the boat on other stuff. So we're gonna talk about DC because much more relevant.
Right.
So James Gunn became the co-president or like co-CEO, whatever.
Peter Safran.
Yeah, with Peter Safran. That was a while back. However, there was a story that came out in the Hollywood Reporter that was saying that they're basically going to cancel everything, restart everything.
Wonder Woman's done.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's done. Yep.
Aquaman 2 is done after that. Black Adam's not getting a sequel. There's no plans for Man of Steel 2. Didn't hear anything about Batfleck. Obviously, The Flash is probably a one-off. And then didn't hear anything about Shazam. So
we didn't hear anything about Battinson either.
Yeah, or Battinson, right? Or and Joker too. So whatever. Yeah. Or Blue Beetle. Or Static Shock. Like we didn't hear some things. But James Gunn was like, he's like, I know you all have seen this report coming out of Hollywood Reporter. Some of it's true, some of it's not true. Some of it's half true, and some of it we haven't figured out if it's true or not yet.
Right, because they're still deciding. They talked about how they're still having meetings and discussing things. Right. So there are things on there that could end up being true,
right? Or
they could end up not being true.
Yeah, because then like another report I saw is that they approached. I want to say it's Patty Jenkins, the girl that wrote, the woman that writes Wonder Woman. They asked her to change her script, and she said no, and then that's kind of why Wonder Woman was kind of like dead, I guess. But which I really don't have a problem with, because like if it doesn't fit the narrative of what James Gunn wants to do in his universe building, then there's no reason to have that story be told for Wonder Woman. So,
yeah. I mean, if you follow on Twitter, we already kind of gave like a one tweet sum of how I feel. And I said that I'm fine if they reset everything. Like personally, I don't care if it's all gone and they just start fresh. Even the stuff that I like.
And yeah, like Henry Cavill, like that would suck. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Henry Cavill can't be attached to a Superman thing. You know what I mean? Right. I prefer them just to start from scratch. And I get, like, I would also be okay with Battinson, like the Batman, starting the DC universe, but also I'm okay if that stays separate,
Yeah, I'm
too.
fine if they want to do Batman and Joker continuing from what they want, like what they've done so far. But I also would love to have those in the DCU, like
the Pattinson and Joker universe.
not necessarily
I don't
just
think
those characters should
right.
be, and
Sure.
having those side ones might deter them from doing like putting them in
Right.
the DCU. I
Right.
think the proper way to do it is get rid of and reset everything, like build it. You don't have to do exactly what Marvel does, but Marvel is a good template to follow.
Sure.
And making sure continuity and everything exists. You're going to want to get rid of Pattinson and Joker unless those are planning to be your DCEU character.
Oh, sure.
I
You
don't-
think it'd be too confusing if they did a new
Not necessarily confusing.
Justice League, like DCU Batman is separate from Robert Pattinson's
right?
Batman. You think that'd be too confusing for fans to get?
I don't think it'll be
Or-
confusing. I think it's so you know how they do like market research on all products.
Sure.
They sometimes they bring in like psychologists to try to define like what's going on because they can't find like any sort of pattern. And I
Sure.
feel like this is one of those times where they would bring in a psychologist because it's almost as if like it's not confusing. They totally get it. They totally understand like the viewers, what like the viewers of the DCU, all the consumers of the product. They totally understand when they see like when they see Flash on TV and Ezra Miller. They understand
Sure.
who's who.
Grant Gustin.
Right. They understand which
Gustin and
characters
Ezra Miller.
which.
Sure.
They would understand Henry Cavill or they would understand Pattinson and then a new Batman. I just think they're less interested and you create like I think the consumers go down and then you have competition amongst yourself. Like you're going to have people argue which one's better. Oh, Pattinson is better than this.
Sure.
But you're part of the same company.
So we
and people are
talked-
only going to see one versus the other.
Sure. We talked back in the day when the DCEU, which is different now because I think they're doing like DCEU was their attempt at a universe, and now James Gunn's like it's the DCU. Like this is where there was MCU, this is the DCU, like this or Detective Comics universe, right? Like DCU. So
Right.
So me and you talked back in the day when we were talking about Justice League, probably one of our earlier pods, where we said that Warner Brothers messed up not building directly from the success of Wonder Woman. And so I'm kind of use that same concept of you have a very successful first movie and a very successful franchise with a very popular character. So like Wonder Woman did very, very well, right? Like they hit the nail on the head, woman lead before Marvel got Captain Marvel out.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, they should just lead with Wonder Woman. Like they should just have her be the leader of the Justice League, or at least have her start to build it.
Yeah. Yep.
Because she's been around for so long.
Right.
She's been on Earth longer than everyone else on Earth, right? Like so.
Right.
And I mean, Superman is Kryptonian, whatever. But do you think they should do that same thing and do it with the success of Batman? Because the Batman is also same thing, very successful, very popular character. Like every time I talk about superheroes, I'm like, DC has the best superhero ever. And I just think Batman is the best superhero ever. But comparatively to Spider-Man, whatever. But
I mean, hot take. I would say I think a lot of people agree because most people, when you ask what's their favorite superhero,
he's just so like he's recognizable, right? Like he's just so recognizable, and that's the one thing that I think like that you could say that DC has over Marvel is somebody of like that kind of magnitude.
Batman and Superman. If you took away Spider-Man, Marvel doesn't have anything that compares sales wise to Batman and Superman.
Yeah. So
But
so yeah,
Spider-Man
do you think
outweighs
they
both
should
of them
like
by an
that?
insane amount?
Yeah. But yeah, you've got the success of the Batman, and obviously it did very, very well in theaters, streaming, stuff like that.
So-
It's all over the place. So
I
Do
do
you think
want
James
to.
Gunn's smart enough to at least consider that, or James Gunn and Peter Safran are smart enough to at least consider that possibility, or do you think
Yeah.
that's something they'd have to talk to Matt Reeves and be like, "Hey, do you think we can do this? Do you think this is a good idea?" Because Matt Reeves obviously helmed the whole thing.
I think if you ask most of those, if James Gunn, if Matt Reeves, if Safran, if any of them are smart enough to, I think most of the time that answer is yes, just because
Sure.
they're all very good at what they do. I think so. I do first. I do think that this is kind of a mistake that has come at the, like, this is the first they clearly trusted somebody that they shouldn't have. I just
Right.
want to say, like, this is probably their first experience as the face, because like James Gunn had to address it right away. I think they've handled it really well, but I think
Right.
this is that first like big thing as
I'm actually, I think James Gunn was probably honest in that exact tweet. Like,
right.
sure, some things are right, some things are wrong,
And like
some things we don't know. Like,
they either trusted somebody they shouldn't, or they took a page out of Kevin Feige's book and created drama around
okay, sure,
around what they're doing to create hype in the future. They either took a page out of Feige's book and did that, or this is just one of those first, like, oh, told somebody some information that I thought they wouldn't tell, and they
you gotta find them and fire them. So
and they got
so.
you got to red dot them again, taking a page out of Kevin Feige's
Right,
book.
yeah.
So you can follow a couple trends. Like if you want to go with what Marvel does, if you want to follow something they do, Marvel's obsessed with people from New York and huge cities.
That's right.
So you could do Gotham.
Why not Gotham? Yeah.
Gotham could start out, be the building franchise. So then you can make Batman the leader, similar to like building the Justice League, building a team.
Sure.
Batman could be that guy. If you wanted to follow like a lot of the older comics, you'd have Superman do it, and they do like his ice cave, or they would do his fortress or whatever. Right. But you could easily translate that into a different character. You could do it with Wonder Woman, and you could have her own base and have that be where they meet and build the league and all that. And or you do the cliche, pick the smartest one and then have them do it. Or you pick the one that represents the military the most and you have them do it.
Or you pick the billionaire that can afford all the things.
Right.
Batman. So
they can afford like a layer for the whole team, can afford research facilities and all this stuff. And so you do that. So and then do you do the Marvel route where maybe Batman reveals himself? Kind of ruins the character though. So I would vote no.
Yeah, especially
But you like, where do you want to go with it? Again, that's why you don't follow Marvel. You just follow a template that they've kind of set up.
Sure.
So if you go with the big city thing, you go the rich guy, the smart guy, you have options for all of them. So I think they could go for Batman. I think they could find a way to build it. Maybe they can do it with like a slightly more obscure character. It doesn't have to be the big ones, but
Oliver Queen is wealthy too. Right. Green Arrow. So
yeah. So you could do that. You could honestly, you could take some, because now Green Arrow, because of the show, is bigger than most people would think, like bigger than it used to be. So it would be fine to have him kind of be there to be the leader. It would be fine. I don't think you should do Flash Gordon. It just doesn't fit the character. Yeah. Flash is never a leader to me.
Yeah.
Maybe you do. Please don't cancel Static Shock. Please, for the love of God, don't cancel Static Shock and have Static Shock be like a co-leader. You know what I mean?
John Stewart, maybe.
It doesn't make sense because he's supposed to be like he's in the show. At least he was like a teenage kid who wasn't supposed to be living in like a high-end home. He was supposed to be not from wealth.
He could.
Really make
you saying that though, he could have a team up with Shazam, and that would make sense.
That would be sick.
Because Billy Batson's like,
they both have a the lightning bolt.
Yeah.
More lightning bolt.
Shazam. Yeah.
No. Yeah. So like you could pick somebody that would be good. Just don't make it. Green Lantern. I don't see as a leader.
Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. You could do Martian Manhunter.
Sure.
So you could do. You have options.
Right.
And so I don't know. I think they're smart enough to go with somebody big, because I think somebody big as the leader just makes the most sense. That's the person that draws the attention of the people that are 50-50 that you're because the people that are huge fans of DC, no matter what you put out, they're going to go see.
Sure.
So your goal as like these creations, I feel like, should be to capture the 50-50. Like the people that are like, do I want to see this movie, or do I really not care about joining this old comic book hype?
Right.
but you bring in a huge name actor or the perfect casting of somebody like a Henry
Sure.
Cavill, and then you have
Right.
them lead this new start of basically the equivalent of the DC Avengers.
Sure.
You got Justice League, you got
Right.
whatever, but
Right.
then you start them. You do your little space side. You just some of
You got a lot. You got a lot of things in space. You got Superman. You
James
got
Gunn
Martian
is
Manhunter. Yeah, he's a space dude, right?
Tremendous at space
Yeah,
content.
you got the Lanterns. You got Lobo.
Right. Which
So,
Lobo, because Jason Momoa is most likely gone as Aquaman.
yeah.
But he said he's excited for the future because apparently they've been talking about his favorite character, Lobo. People originally, when that quote came out, thought he was talking about playing both characters. When it looks like maybe he'd just be Lobo and they'll recast Aquaman.
Sure. Yeah.
That's what it's looking like. Obviously, they said some of these things are true, some of these aren't. So
Right.
we don't know
That one, because that one's got some like smoke where there's fire, like some fire where there's smoke, because he did also tweet like so excited to like,
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So and I know he's got a good because he's got a good relationship with Jason Momoa. James Gunn does. And also
I feel like most people do, like most other celebrities.
Yeah, and also like Ezra Miller too. He brought them in for Peacemaker, for the Peacemaker finale. Those two.
I don't know. That's a good question to lead into, though. Is will they continue with Ezra Miller?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, and Peacemaker.
Yeah, because Peacemaker was successful too, and that was James Gunn's kind of project. So I don't know. I think they have the opportunity to use the Flash movie to the success of resetting their DCU. I just don't know what is in the Flash and if they plan for it to reset going forward. So,
and one thing to make clear to everybody is it's none of our business. Like we want to know, but it's none of our business.
Right. Yeah.
So like we obviously, as more information comes out, we'll see which stuff is true and which stuff is not. But because it's none of our business, like the only stuff that we get to hear is the stuff they really want us to hear, basically.
Right.
We're not going to know which stuff is true potentially for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So all this stuff is pure speculation. The more people that talk about it, the more people that say like, oh, what do you think? The more people that speculate, they can also do this is not confirmed, but I know Marvel has to do. They can also read the general responses from people across Facebook, Twitter, all these other social media, Reddit, all this stuff. Genuine, just finding people and interviewing them, surveying them. And they're gathering all this information during this hype, during the speculation. Would you want Jason? Ask a random fan. Would you want Jason Momoa recast as Lobo, or do you want him to stay as Aquaman? And like seeing what people are saying about all this stuff, and then kind of catering to a little fan service to guarantee that they freak out. And I swear Marvel does that, because there's no way that they make some of the decisions they do unless they read the internet or hear about it.
And a big example of that is just simply bringing Charlie Cox in general.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just the success of his. Yeah. I mean, like, and like the internet is like putting
Vincent
pressure.
D'Onofrio back as Kingpin.
The internet put pressure on Marvel, saying like Daredevil on Netflix is spectacular. It's one of the best Netflix shows, just overall. And the success of the actors in that the fans put pressure on Marvel to be like, these are the only people that can play these characters now. Like, and then they made Kevin Feige be like, yeah, there will never be a Daredevil again that isn't Charlie Cox. And then from that point on, it's like, all right, we're good. Like, we're getting
at least not well under his leader. We will see in 20 years when they remake.
We'll see in Secret Wars. We'll see in Secret Wars when they bring Ben Affleck back as Daredevil to fight our Daredevil.
God, I can't wait for the speculation around that. Anyway, that's enough Marvel. This is about DC.
Right. Sure.
Okay. I don't really have that much more to say about DC.
Yeah. I mean, Henry Cavill, obviously I would love to keep. But if like say they decide to do the Flash reset, okay? Say they decide to do the Flash reset. Superman could survive that. Like they could make that make sense. If he just straight up reverses everything or goes to a brand new universe or whatever, Superman could exist, but then everything else, I don't really know.
They
I
try
know they're
to
gonna do
destroy
Blue Beetle.
Dr. Fate's helmet, and it opens up a new, it just tears this opening and starts a new world.
Right. Yeah. Blue Beetle, I know they're gonna do. But I just don't know. I don't know.
I'm the one I care about the most is Static Shock.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on with that. I know
Sure.
that's one we for sure won't know about because we weren't hearing anything about it before this.
Right.
Like if Static Shock doesn't get made, a lot of people aren't going to talk about it.
Right.
People are like, what? What's Static Shock? And Michael B.
Right.
Jordan's gonna be like, the great shit I was gonna make.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
he's directing. I don't know if he was gonna act in it, but he's gonna direct it. He had a vision for it. So like,
I wanted to see that vision because
right.
his vision is what made Killmonger.
Yeah.
He's clear, and his vision is what makes his Creed character as good as it is.
Right.
Like, clearly, he's good at developing stories and characters.
Right.
I wanted to see what Steve would do with Static Shock.
Sure.
That was I really hope they continue with that. So if the DC people, whether it's James Gunn or one of like the lower level workers that's hired to scour the internet for result, like what people are thinking,
and they found their poor soul found us.
You are 20 minutes into this, like, oh my god, how much do I have to listen to? Please keep Static Shock.
Sure.
I will go see it 30 times in theaters just to make sure it makes good money in our area.
Right.
Oh, I really want to see it. Or tell us who you're going to start with.
Yeah.
Because the announcement of the first series or the first movie that they're doing as this new DCU, that's the
like he's saying like they're gonna do some
start?
Comic-Con early next year, something like that. Like New York Comic-Con, I believe, is at the start of the year, and San Diego's later. But they'll do New York Comic-Con and they'll have a panel, and you're telling me they're not gonna put a graph up on the ceiling and like, all right, here's the first thing we're gonna do. So
I'm ready for it.
And it could just be the Batman 2.
And I also do want to specify to me, it could be. I am very sad to see some of it. It might sound like I'm extremely excited for everything to be fresh, but if Henry Cavill doesn't come back as Superman,
right?
If I liked Shazam. I didn't think it was bad, so I wanted to see more Shazam.
Sure.
Or not Shazam.
Black Adam.
Black Adam.
Yeah.
I think Shazam is like a lot of.
You would like Shazam,
like
too.
What Miss Marvel wanted to be, I feel like is Shazam.
Yeah, you would like Shazam a lot.
And I just there's some of those I wouldn't. I think Pattinson would be nice to see him stay, but does he fit what they're looking for, especially with how different of a movie it was?
Right.
So I want to see a lot of these things stay. I think the fans are gonna be demanding Harley Quinn stay, but I don't think you keep Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And where do they want to go? Because I was really excited to see the new Joker from the Batman.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Barry Keoghan.
Yeah. I wanted to see him. What's going on? But if that's not part of the DCU, that means that they do need to keep that going separate.
Right.
But
Matt
like
Reeves
I said,
universe.
I don't think they should do the separate thing because that's part of their problem now.
Right.
They need to all be cohesive. You're building a massive
a Bible. James Gunn said he's building James Gunn said he's building a Bible, and that's what everyone needs to kind of not worship, but you know what I mean? Like
they need to refer back to should they have any questions regarding previous creations.
Yeah, because he wants to not only do movies, but he wants to do series and he wants to do games. He wants games to be a part of the storytelling too. So
be smart.
So yeah.
Fortnite crossover.
maybe not some games.
Yeah. Don't do it. No, yeah. Don't do it, DC. Yeah, but anyway, I think James Gunn is handling it really well. For the future, I'm thinking the best option they can do is reset everything. I think and then create it from the vision that James Gunn and Safran are doing from now, and just move forward to that. Deal with the repercussions of the problems, like deal with the repercussions of people wanting to have Henry Cavill back, but it didn't fit what you were doing.
Right.
your overall image and story of what.
See,
you're
and I
going
also
for.
think like Henry Cavill pulling out of The Witcher, which he probably never pulled. He never pulled out as The Witcher.
Never.
But no, him pulling out of that with the Witcher project,
he
has to know something. Like he has
a
to know
lot of
something,
other
right?
childs of surprise, just they're a little bit different.
Right. Yeah.
Different type of surprise.
Right. So I mean, he has to like know something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they brought him back for some reason, I don't know. I hope he knows.
I feel like he wouldn't have done that had he already not been told something.
Right. Same. So.
Or he's talked about a couple other passion projects in the past that would be his like number one choices. Maybe it's one of those, like creating a Warhammer movie.
Yeah.
He said that was like his ultimate dream or something.
Sure.
So maybe he's getting part of that.
What they should do is they should make a Warcraft movie around the Lich King, and he should play the Lich King because he could totally do it and it'd be badass. And that's the best.
Well, last World of Warcraft movie went well.
It did do well. It made a ton of money in China.
Yeah, it did.
It made a profit. It just wasn't that big.
Not in America, yeah.
So,
but they could do it. They could do. I'm sure he would do that too.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's a big Warcraft guy too.
I could see him quitting The Witcher to do a Warhammer, especially because they weren't doing on The Witcher what he wanted to do with the character. Yeah. And that's another thing. He could have also just quit because he was finally fed up.
Yeah.
It might not be that he's going back to the DCU, even though that's what we're really, really, really hoping for.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, that's what's going on with DC right now. And a little quick thing on Black Panther 2. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. I'm excited for Guardians 3, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
Chadwick, rest in peace. That was that silent intro of him with the Marvel logo was extremely heavy, and what a way to start a movie.
Anyway, to end a movie too. the ending was like it was very heartfelt.
Son of T'Challa.
Yeah.
Good movie. It was a good movie.
Yeah.
So that's it for DC. That's it for our Marvel talk.
Sprinkled in some Marvel.
Sprinkled in some. Joe has antennas now.
Yeah. These are like so on my desk. It has an X in the back.
Yeah.
Which was what these were, and I took them off, and then I just kind of shoved them in here. So now I want to be one of those cat girls. I want to be one of those cat girls so I have little ear things.
Put little ears up there. Yeah. No, that's what you make them look like like arrows.
Yeah. I'm actually an Android, and these are just like giving me good service. So
yeah, that's good. I mean, you're coming in nice and clear. All right, and we just came in nice and clear. Thank you for listening. You all look great today. See you next week. GG.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. Have no regrets, yeah, I'm tired of my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be